Wallace Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? This your first time tuning in. Go ahead. Hit doggone subscribe button. Hit notification bell every time I post up new content. Well, people, to actually really take from a famous quote uh, from a famous movie. It's Friday. I ain't got no job, and I ain't got shit to do. Tasty beverage as always. Uh, yes, I got my glasses on. But for this particular reason, right, I don't, I thought if, especially what the fuck I'm finna talk about today, right? I feel like, okay, well, if I put my glasses on, right, and actually like really, instead of giving y'all the everyday, ordinary look of the crazy uncle, right? I thought, at least just for this particular show only, right? I figured I'll give more like of a professor type of look, if you will, you know. But just know this: if I was a professor at any college university, one or two things is gonna happen. They either gonna kick my ass out, right? Or everybody is gonna want to come to my motherfucking class. Plain and simple. So, title of this show, right? Is it really a copycat world, or does history, and I put in parentheses, his story is on repeat, right? Shout out to my brother-in-law, first and foremost, that actually really brought this to me, right? Um, like I said, he do a lot of research just like I do. So by now, right, for the most part, everybody knows that the National Guard is in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, and they cleaning up stuff. But basically, from what my brother-in-law told me, from one of his sources, right, that yes, they're there, right? But it's almost like, okay, their main interest is on that pyramid that's right there in Memphis, Tennessee, right? Now, and so here's where the copycat shit comes in at, right? Y'all do realize that there's a city over there in Egypt that's named the exact same name as Memphis, Tennessee, right? And so, out of the biggest rivers in the world today, right? You got the Nile River, you got the Amazon, and the Mississippi, but uh, I can't actually like really. I think it's a river here that's actually like it's longer than the Mississippi. It ain't by much, but it is indeed longer than the Mississippi. But that's another story, right? So we talking. I mean, great the fact it's on for a little short while, right? But the way that we talk, sometimes we talk, right? It can that one thing, and it's almost like doing an SOS board, right? You know, you want to win, they want to win. So you try to do it in such a way, right? Where that, okay, you don't start off a chain reaction. So basically, what I did was I just told him because he asked me the question. He said, "Well, what do you think about that?" Okay, and so I just told him, right? Okay, well, considering where the pyramids of Egypt are, or the pyramids of Giza, right, in distance to Memphis, Egypt, and then the distance from the Nile River, right, is really not that big of a difference, right? And so then let's come across the water, right? You got the Mississippi River in Memphis, Tennessee. right there. And that pyramid is where? Right there. Just like those 3 pyramids are over there by the Nile River. Now, if that ain't motherfucking copycat, I don't know what the fuck is. Right? And then for the most part, you know, I didn't heard all of this stuff. Some of the people in Memphis, Tennessee, or as I like to say, I tend to see the bullshit that's going on, right? But but let's actually really stop and think about it for a minute, you know, because there's always 2 sides to every story. A lot of people are actually like really, you know, they're actually like really glad that the National Guard came in, cleaned up some shit. And then you got these other folk on the other side. They were just like, okay, well now they doing this, they trying to get us out because they trying to build what's the word? Gentrification, whatever the fuck it is. I done heard Anton Daniels talking about it, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, not to say that there's anything wrong with it though, but I just look at it like this. If the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. didn't catch you, then 9 times out of 10, what the fuck I just said should get you. Right? Now, from what me and my brother-in-law talked about yesterday, right? A lot of it just sure, you know, we can sit up here and we can see this and see that and see the other, right? And then we can try to put 2 and 2 together, right? And for the most part, it may make sense, it may not make sense, right? But just for the simple fact that the shit is there, right? It actually like for those of us that actually really think on that level, right? It's actually really a topic of discussion, right? Now, I'm not saying that the other 2 pyramids will be built there in Memphis, Tennessee, right? So let's just say for shits and giggles, there 2 more pyramids show up within that surrounding area. Knowing what we know about the pyramid or pyramids of Giza, we already knew what the fuck that they was actually really trying to do over there with that stuff over there. But the one thing that I didn't tell my brother-in-law yesterday, right, is that years ago, I was watching, I don't know, I think it was the History Channel or whatever, and then they was actually really talking about, uh, well, let them tell it, you know, they'll say that, okay, that the Egyptians built the pyramids, right? But I'm gonna call bullshit on that, right? Because for one, they too goddamn high, right? And even the tallest group of people in the world today, right? With the technology they had, right? They couldn't build that damn tall, right? And then for the most part, if you actually really stop and pay attention, right? But you know, I'm bringing the Bible in this, and no, this don't have shit to do with religion, right? Because if you actually really know the true meaning of religion is, or what the etymology of the word religion means, then once you realize that, then you throw that shit out the window. So in either case, right? Let's look before the flood. You didn't hear shit about the motherfucking pyramids. The flood happens. Then these pyramids show up. How they get there? When the earth is literally underwater. And then for it to actually really be strategically placed by the Nile River, right? And so you know, so again, you gotta ask yourself, you know, because they like this shit is perfectly north, south, east, and west, right? And they're half the Earth's diameter. And they're actually like really strategically placed like the stars of Orion's belt, right? I mean, put it like this, I love my people. I love my people. But to get it that damn direct, right? No, And then didn't no aliens come down and build the pyramids neither. All of that was the work of Yahweh. He did that as well as the doggone Sphinx, right? Which the Sphinx, right, is nothing more than a combination of the eagle, the lion, and the ox. Don't believe me? Go Google it. Because those two front paws are lion's paws. And then what the fuck that they ain't telling you, that the Sphinx had wings. They're quick to tell you that, matter of fact, hold that damn thought. Got my trusted binder here, right? So, just like I say, throughout history or his story, or as I like to say, theory, which is which is a combination of both a group of people, whether you all be male. Just stay with me, big bro. Right? I tend to do this. I tend to jump topics, right? Because like a lot of times, this shit be so motherfucking fascinating to me, right? It's all for like this. It's all come together. Just watch and see just wait and see what I got to tell you. Because the thing, but then again, if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, I really haven't jumped subjects. I'm talking about the pyramid here in Memphis, Tennessee, and the pyramids of Giza. That's not too far from the city in Memphis over there in Egypt. Okay, so here's the deal. I told y'all about the Sphinx, right? Now everybody wants to sit up here and holler about, what Napoleon did. Talking about he went and knocked the noses off all of the doggone statues, right? Well, my question is this: what the fuck else did he knock off? See that right there, people? See that right there? That's what the Sphinxes used to look like. What happened to the fucking wings, people? All right. That's what that's what the hell you gotta actually really stop and look at, right? So basically all what I'm saying is this, right? You look at all of the stuff that's over there in Egypt, right? Which is a continent in Africa, right? But the Egyptians don't call themselves Africans, right? So with all of that bullshit, right? You motherfuckers, some of you motherfuckers holler about, "Ooh, I'm African American." Okay, motherfuckers in Africa don't even say African, right? They say whatever the fuck continent or country that they in. Meaning, if you from Nigeria, you a Nigerian. What is where this bullshit term of African American come from? It come from them motherfuckers. His story or the goddamn theory, which is a whole. It ain't just one person. It's a whole bunch of people that think the same goddamn way, or they want us to think the same goddamn way, and then y'all wonder why we're in the situation that the fuck that we're in now. Too much goddamn confusion going on. Just like that shit the other day, white folks versus accountability. Show me a motherfucking white person. Show me a motherfucking black person. What type of shirt that I got on right now? But I'm black though. Okay, all right. Fuck games as usual. So in our case, let's actually really stop and look at this for a minute, right? The United States government has copied from everybody else. Ain't shit over here. Put like this. The only thing that's original about America is the people that were here before Christopher Columbus brought his ass over here. Right? This past Monday was motherfucking Columbus Day. Columbus discovered America. This is what we've been taught, right? But what the fuck that they didn't tell you is about the doctrine of discovery. If you don't know what the fuck the doctrine of discovery is, I suggest you look that shit up. Right? Because the doctrine of discovery is about one book and one book only. And again, hold that thought. I'll be right back. This book right here, King James Version, right? So basically what happens is this, right? Word get out. Hey, it's a group of people over there, and there's a piece of land across that water over there. Go see if anybody on it. Right? Do your report, come back. So that's what the fuck Columbus did, right? According to history or his story, right? So he come back, hey, look, whole bunch of motherfuckers over there, right? Doing their thing, right? And then guess what happened? They come back, right? And then what the hell they do? What they did? They give us this, right? And then I'm gonna tell you something about this. If you really don't know how to read this motherfucker, yeah, you will most definitely be lost in the sauce, right? So, but then again, like if you actually really stop and think about all this shit, right? Considering what type of technology that they had back then, right? You almost got to ask yourself, how the fuck did Columbus get over here in the first goddamn place? You really not knowing what the fuck is going to because you really don't know how the water is going to take you, right? And so, you know, again, this is why I said his story, because I always look at it like this, right? As far as like the early maps, how the fuck they know what that shit looked like from an overhead view when there wasn't no goddamn airplanes? How the fuck you know what? How the fuck did they know what the damn world looked like before motherfuckers actually really started to take flight? You know, considering everything, right? You know, airplanes, cameras, whatever. When all that shit actually came into existence, maps were already out. So how that shit happen? And so now, big bro, I'm going off subject a little bit. You know, but then again, and you see, this is why I title shit the way that I title it, right? Because I could give you base model, but then again, depending on how big the base model is, it may take you to the right, it may take you to the left, it may take you in all motherfucking four directions, right? So basically, this is all what the hell I try to do, right? So, but going back to like what I actually really meant for this show to be about, right? You got Memphis over there. You got Memphis over here. Pyramids over there, a pyramid over here. Two more got to show up some goddamn where, right? And then what's so bad about it, right? If you actually really stop and really look at the map of the United States, especially where the Mississippi River starts at, which is up there in Minnesota, right? And it comes all the way down, it passes Arkansas, passes Louisiana, and then it goes into what was the Gulf of Mexico. But how many of y'all know that, whether you want to call them conspiracy theories or not, they have actually really taken all of the states that the Mississippi River flows down beside, and they actually really came up with a name of those states. And just know that Tennessee is actually really part of that shit, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, it's what is it? Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, or Tennessee. No, it's either Kentucky or Tennessee. I can't remember, right? Um, so it's like you got Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, and then Louisiana, right? Or it could be just for the simple fact that Tennessee is really not a part of it, right? But all of this shit, all that shit rolls down the side, Miss, you know, put like this: the Mississippi River makes the borders of the states that I just mentioned, right? Now, again, you can take that shit for however you want to take it for however you want to take it, right? But let's just look at it like this: the three pyramids of Giza make up Orion's belt. Orion was a man, just like this motherfucker here in the United States, that out of the states that I just mentioned, I want to say it's MIMO, M-I, what is it? M-I-M-A-L. Which it's the letter of the first letter of each state, right? And then if you actually really think about it, okay, here it is, you got a little man and he got a hat on, and what way is he facing? What direction is he facing? Just like if you ask me to stop and look at the Statue of Liberty, right? Pay attention to where that bitch is looking, okay? If you ask me to stop and think about it for a minute, both of these motherfuckers got the same line of sight. So again, I was so hurt to talk about, put like this, I was so hurt to talk about the other shit, and then this other shit just happened, right? But my whole deal is this. Anytime when a motherfucker can create some shit, right? And then if you really pay attention to where that motherfucker is looking, but even then, that could be wrong, right? So now at this point of juncture, I can truly understand. Yeah, I'm kind of like all over the place right now. But if nothing else, put like this, if you didn't get nothing else out of this, right? Just know that, hey, guess what? It's a copycat world out there, right? Considering, and there's a lot of other shit that comes into play. As far as like, okay, what landmass is the oldest? which I actually think is bullshit, you know, but hey, it is what it is. Considering that if you want to believe in the Pangea, whatever the fuck, you want to believe in that theory, then hey, by all means. But if you actually really stop and think about it, you put all this shit back together, and it looked just like Pangea, right? But um, but big bro, I will try to do better about staying on subject, because sometimes I'm just like, ooh, damn, maybe I could put this in with this right here, and then hopefully all of this shit actually really makes sense. But hopefully some of it actually really made sense to you, right? But um, one last thing, government shutdown. What is this? This is day what, 15, 16, right? You know, and I already talked about this, right? It happened on the first day, happened on October 1st, the start of the fiscal year, where the government gets all this motherfucking money. But then I appreciate that, you know. But then it's just like what I'm saying, right? October 1st, started the fiscal year, right? But then if you actually really been paying attention, what happened August 15, 1971, right? Nixon did away with the Gold Standard Act. The last time that they did an audit or inspection on Fort Knox was in 1980. They haven't inspected it motherfuckers since. So guess what? Guess what happened? So if Nixon took away the Gold Standard Act, so that just gold is just sitting up there. And then let's not forget that other countries trusted this government with their gold. And then y'all motherfuckers, why we still, and y'all wonder why we still in war right today, right? So put like this, and I'm not getting off subject here because what I'm about to say makes perfectly sense. If you ever seen the movie Half Baked, right, when they got the dog, right, then the dog died, and then dude was like, I believe it's a little bit more complex than that, right? So I'm not actually really gonna go into the story about killing the dog. Go watch the fucking movie. It's fucking hilarious. But in either case, right? I mean, it was wars before all these countries came together. And like, okay, well, look, we gonna trust you with our gold. But then again, you gotta ask yourself, okay, how did this come? Hey, I'm doing the show. I'm doing the show. Don't y'all make too much noise. Uh, so in either case, right? You gotta ask yourself, okay, going back, looking at this country's history, looking at, okay, how every war started, and then actually I really look at, okay, when World War I happened, what caused World War I, what caused World War II, right? And then you actually really got to stop and look at, okay, who was funding both sides of the war, right? If you a big ass bully, hey, I told y'all, yeah, I hear you. Stop ringing my damn doorbell. So, so when you actually really look at, go sit down. I'm doing the show right fast. Go sit down. Go sit down. Can I finish my show? Hi, look, right there. Say hi. Okay, bye. So, so in either case, I'm almost done anyway. So in either case, people, when you the biggest and the baddest, then you get all of this shit. Or you make people entrust you with your shit, right? because of shit that's actually really gonna come into play later on in life, right? So, like I said, anything after 1980, ain't nobody actually really looked at Fort Knox. Like, seriously. So I'm almost like, okay, where's the goddamn gold if it ain't, put it like this. If the gold is sitting there, they need to motherfucker do a live motherfucking television deal, right? And let the American people see that the gold is still there in Fort Knox, right? If the gold is not there in Fort Knox, then everybody really needs to know why the fuck the government shutdown even happened in the first goddamn place. Because President Nixon took away the gold standard act. So now you got to ask yourself, okay, where's the gold at? If we're not using it to make money no more, where is the gold at? And then y'all wonder why 20 years later, in 1991, who the fuck did we go after? And what the fuck did he do? Who did he go after? Right? Because they went too much longer after that, they went to the petrodollar. Right? Their last, why, but here's the deal. Why do that when we got the Alaskan pipeline? You too goddamn greedy. How about you use what the fuck you got over here? But then when Hussein come in power, right? Which you gotta be like, okay, well, who taught this motherfucker how to do shit? Right? So the shit, and so this is what I'm talking about. Copycat. Or does his history steady constantly repeats? Because I'm gonna tell you something. This shit probably like every 10 years, maybe 15 to 20, right? They'll hit you with something, right? And you know it's big because they'll put it on goddamn television, right? Because that's actually really stop and think about it. Look at what the fuck happened in 2001. The Twin Towers come down, right? And then what happened 10 years after that? And then what happened 10 years after that, right? This is 2025. When did the war in the Ukraine start? Right? And ain't it the same shit that happened back in 91? Right? You got the big motherfucker, Russia, Putin and his gang fucking with the Ukraine. Just like this is no different than what the fuck Hussein did to goddamn Kuwait. And so when the American people started saying, oh, hell no. But then again, gas is still high as shit. So, that's like I'm saying. You pay attention long enough, you know that his story will always motherfucking repeat. You just gotta know when the fuck to catch it. Just like when I told y'all a few weeks back. You already put like this. We all should know when election time is coming. Because here come all of the goddamn drug busts. Or what the fuck I like to call the goddamn delivery. Hey, we got it. That's why they put the shit on TV, people. That's why they put it, because how the fuck is they gonna know that the other folk that when they send it, right? How the fuck is they got it? And the drug dealers that you see on the goddamn street, they make the true goddamn drug dealers. The motherfucking police, chief of police, and whoever the fuck his buddies are, along with the mayor and the governor, right? And then to actually really make matters worse, right? All of these motherfucking mayors that are bitching that the National Guard, that Trump, that sent the National Guard to their city, they're the ones that's doing all the goddamn bitching. And I wonder motherfucking why. The Democrats, all these are Democratic cities. Democrats, or what Jesse Ventura once said, Democrips. Because what color are the Democrats? What color are the Republicans? Crips and Bloods at the highest motherfucking level. And y'all worried about the motherfuckers in Los Angeles. Okay, yeah, all right. Again, fuck games as usual. But you ain't got motherfucker take my goddamn word for it. Go do the research yourself. Research this shit for yourself. And then if I'm wrong, come back and tell me. But it is what it is, people. Right? You sit back and you let this, you put like this, you sit back and you let this shit happen. I mean, these motherfuckers, they gonna keep doing it until somebody say, hey, enough. Shout out to my brother Dave Calloway, right? If you ain't, you put like this, if you haven't checked out his material, I suggest you do so. This brother's on point. This brother that actually really came back, that we didn't come from Africa, which, if you ask me to stop and think about it, okay, explain the motherfucking boat ride from Africa to here, right? Somebody walked over when it was cold enough. Remember what the fuck Sarah, what her name? Sarah Palin said? Oh, if I go in my backyard, I can see Russia. How many of y'all know about the Bering Strait? At one point, that shit was dry. You could walk across the, put like this, you could walk from the Soviet Union over to here. So during the Ice Age, what the fuck you think happened? A lot of us walked over here. See, a lot of stuff, and see, here's the deal. The educational system of this country is all fucked up. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. They'll tell you one goddamn, put like this, they'll talk about the Ice Age, right? Then they tell you about slavery, right? But then again, I'm looking at this simple fact, right? What they said, 1619? When it didn't, here's something else for you. Okay, what year was the first ship built that could actually really carry that much people of that type of magnitude? You don't know where the fuck you going, but you got all these motherfuckers pissing and shitting on each other, causing diseases, and that shit is airborne. So eventually, everybody on the goddamn boat gonna get sick, right? And if you don't know where the fuck you going, guess what? Your ass gonna die at the head motherfucking sea. And then let's bring it right back around to what the fuck did this happen on Monday? So-called Columbus Day. And who the fuck did he see when he came here? He saw us. Calling us Indians. According to history, he was supposed to be going to India. So the first piece of land that he saw, and he saw us, what the fuck you think he called us? Me personally, I'm not no goddamn. I will say this much. I ain't no goddamn Indian. I'm not Native American. I ain't none of that shit. Because for first and foremost, my people were here before this shit was called America. And then motherfuckers talking about, oh, indigenous. No, can't even say that. Now, according to who the fuck you talk to, and I said this on my other channel, I titled it Name Switching. If you my color and goddamn darker, guess what? We are the tribes, we are members of the 12 tribes of Israel. And depending on, now I got a chart, but it acts like how they got it is by birth date, right? So if I was to actually really go over my actual birth date, I fall under the tribe of Gad. I'm an Aries. We're the warriors. We go out and fuck up people. And if you ask me to stop and think about it for a minute, you got your warriors, you got your scholars, you got all this stuff. All of the shit what you have today, guess what? They had back then. Now, I love my brother Dane Calloway. Love him to death, right? But call us on what the fuck we truly are. We're not Indians. We ain't Seminole, we ain't Cherokee, we ain't none of that shit. We are the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. Abraham. That's us. Again, don't believe me? Go look the shit up. But all I say is this: long as you ain't walking your ass right here hollering about you African American. Because guess what? Africa is a continent, not a goddamn country. There's many countries in that goddamn continent. Show me an African over on the continent of Africa. So fuck you, Dr. Umar Johnson. Fuck you, what is that Tariq Nasheed, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, right? Anybody that's actually pushing this pro-black, pro-African American, pan-Africanism, choke yourself right now. And if you need help, hit me up. I will come find you and I will finish the job for you. So in either case, let me go deal with my grandbabies, y'all. So hey, look, with that being said, hey, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell big dad, tell big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa. Motherfucker next door, cross street around the corner, Potter's Harris, aka. Oh damn! Now I got the second person. I'm done. You should have came earlier. But in either case, look, rewatch this video, leave a comment, and do what I always tell everybody else. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, right? And then you do what I tell everybody else. Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell big dad, tell big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa. Motherfucker next door, cross street, round the corner, Papa's Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Now, look, don't take Big Dan and take Bertha personally. All what the hell I'm telling you. Tell everybody possible about the motherfucking Crazy Uncle and what the hell he doing on his channel. I'ma holler at y'all.